Welcome back to the daily morning gossip feast on Fiddler channel. With me as editor Olivia. Today, let's take a look at some notable celeb news in the past 24 hours. Thank you for always supporting and accompanying us. Come to the following hot news.
The first news. The Republican Party is refusing to celebrate Brittney Griner's release. The second news. Celine Dion reveals incurable health condition as she postpones tour dates. The WNBA star openly hates our country, Donald Trump said in one of many Republican swipes at her participation in the 2020 racial justice protests. Republicans and right-wing media figures have found a litany of reasons to be mad about the release of WNBA star Brittney Griner, who was freed in a prisoner swap Thursday after nearly a year in the Kremlin's clutches. Much of their rhetoric centers on the bigoted assertion that Griner, a black, gay athlete who has been vocal about police brutality and racial justice, is anti-American for being outspoken in politics, and therefore unworthy of rescue by the Biden administration. Ex-President Donald Trump had one of the most aggressive attacks Thursday, writing on his social media platform Truth Social that Griner is a basketball player who openly hates our country, and that it was a stupid and unpatriotic embarrassment for the USA to free her in exchange for Viktor Bout, a notorious Russian arms dealer. His comments were a not-so-subtle reference to Griner's participation in protests against police brutality. Following the 2020 police killings of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, Griner, who plays for the Phoenix Mercury, joined many professional athletes in calling attention to their deaths by refusing to stand for the national anthem during games and calling for the anthem not to be played at all. Trump wasn't the only GOP figure to harp on Griner's protests Thursday. "I sure hope she'll stand for the national anthem," Senator Roger Marshall told reporters. "I wonder if Brittney Griner will sing and stand for the national anthem now that the United States has compromised national security to free her?" Tomi Lahren, a prominent Fox News personality, tweeted, adding in a bizarre jab about women's athletics, "I guess it pays to be a whiny celebrity who plays sports, even if no one watches." Others suggested Griner was less worthy of release than Paul Whelan, an ex-Marine who has been detained in Russia since 2018 on accusations of being a spy. The Russians, U.S. officials explained Thursday, were unwilling to negotiate on Whelan, whom they consider to be a more important prisoner. President Joe Biden said Thursday that Russia's reasoning is totally illegitimate, and that efforts to free Whelan are continuing. But none of the GOP figures complaining about Griner's release acknowledged those nuances. Where is U.S. Marine Paul Whelan, who has been unjustly held by Russia for far longer? Representative Mike Waltz tweeted, "Celebrities over veterans? Why wasn't former Marine Paul Whelan included in this totally one-sided transaction? He would have been let out for the asking," insisted Trump, who stayed silent on Whelan throughout his presidency. So, Biden just traded an enemy who smuggles guns and helps shoot Americans for an American who smuggles drugs and shoots basketballs, all while a former U.S. Marine, Paul Whelan, rots in a Russian prison, Representative Scott Perry tweeted. "Let that sink in. The barb he snuck in calling Griner a drug smuggler is excessive and misleading." Griner was detained at a Russian airport in February for carrying vaporizer cartridges containing less than a gram of hash oil, not for operating some sort of international drug running scheme. Whelan and his family said Thursday they were surprised and disappointed U.S. officials weren't able to secure his release alongside Griner's, but they did so without attacking her or making unfair comparisons. "I was led to believe that things were moving in the right direction, and that the governments were negotiating and that something would happen fairly soon," Whelan, who is 4 years into a 16-year sentence for espionage, told CNN. He also acknowledged that Russia is treating him differently than Griner and put him at a level higher in negotiations. His family also gave a statement to Fox News, which ran a lengthy opinion story demanding Griner start standing for the national anthem, saying they applaud the Biden administration for making the deal that was possible, rather than waiting for one that wasn't going to happen. Some GOP leaders HuffPost spoke to Thursday pushed back on their colleagues' rhetoric. "Very pleased she's coming home. Pleased for her, her family, our country," Senator Mitt Romney said. "They'd like to bring home an arms dealer. It's symbolic of their country that that's what they consider important to return." Senator Joni Ernst also praised Biden's decision and acknowledged Whelan's return as a separate matter. Ernst said, "I'm very thankful that she's coming home. Anytime we can get an American home, that's good. We paid a very heavy price to get her released, and there's still no path forward on Paul Whelan." The second news. Celine Dion reveals incurable health condition as she postpones tour dates. Celine Dion has revealed she has been diagnosed with stiff person syndrome, a rare neurological disorder with features of an autoimmune disease. The French-Canadian singer told her 5.2 million Instagram followers the condition makes her muscles spasm uncontrollably. It has also left her with difficulties walking and singing, she said, meaning she will be unable to play planned shows in the UK and Europe next year. "I've been dealing with problems with my health for a long time," said Dion. "And it's been really difficult for me to face these challenges and to talk about everything that I've been going through," the 54-year-old continued in an emotionally charged video. "Recently I've been diagnosed with a very rare neurological disorder called the stiff person syndrome, which affects something like 1 in a million people. While we're still learning about this rare condition, we now know this is what's been causing all of the spasms I've been having." She added, "Unfortunately, these spasms affect every aspect of my daily life, sometimes causing difficulties when I walk and not allowing me to use my vocal cords to sing the way I'm used to. It hurts me to tell you today that this means I won't be ready to restart my tour in Europe in February." In 2014, the diva, whose ballad My Heart Will Go On, from the Titanic soundtrack, won the Oscar for Best Song, said she was putting her career on hold, indefinitely, as her husband Renee Angelil battled cancer. Although her performances resumed a year later, she stepped away from the stage again in early 2016, following the tragic deaths of both Angelil and her brother, Daniel Dion. She eventually returned with the 2019 studio album Courage, which featured collaborations with Sia, Sam Smith and David Guetta. It's been a struggle. The star supported the record with a world tour, large portions of which had to be postponed due to the COVID pandemic. She was forced to reschedule the dates again this year after developing severe and persistent muscle spasms, which also delayed the return of her Las Vegas residency. Several of those shows, including nights in Birmingham, Glasgow, Manchester and London, have now been pushed back again, while others have been cancelled. On Thursday, Dion reassured her fans that she had a great team of doctors working alongside me to help me get better, while her precious children were supporting me and giving me help. She explained, "I'm working hard with my sports medicine therapist every day to build back my strength and my ability to perform again, but I have to admit it's been a struggle. All I know is singing. It's what I've done all my life and it's what I love to do the most. I miss you so much. I miss seeing all of you, and being on the stage, performing for you. I always give 100% when I do my show, but my condition is not allowing me to give you that right now." No longer holding back the tears, the singer signed off by thanking fans for their support, stressing that she had no choice but to focus on her health right now, and hoped she was on the road to recovery. And those are also the most outstanding news that closes the morning of December 9th. Thank you to everyone for listening and following Fiddler's Daily News. If you find the video interesting and useful, please click like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the latest gossip news.